Part 85. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 841. Chapter 841 Ran Away. Song Xian stayed. I couldn't look at her daughter's means, and Zhang Xiaoxiao did not agree. I'm afraid that something will happen to this girl if she's not here to control her. It is not okay to be caught and used as a specimen. Mainly because Song Xian said that she lacked energy and needed to take a rest. Let's borrow and read. Spent 5,000 yuan, and Song Xian studied at the school in front of her home. The school system here is very relaxed. School starts at 3 p.m. and ends at 3 p.m. Song Xian spends most of her time with Zhang Xiaoxiao. Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't dare to let Song Xian get too far away from him. Early the next morning, several members of the Hao family came to the compound. They are here just for the secret recipe. As a result, I found that the door was locked and a big lock was used to hold it. The faces of the brothers changed. Did you really run away? They were worried about this. They were not afraid of Zhang Xiaoxiao running away, but they were afraid that the old lady would run away. The old lady had the secret recipe in her hand. If the secret recipe is gone, 1 million will be wasted. Brother, what should I do now? I really ran away with the old lady. Uncle Hao was anxious. I have 3 sons in my family, and all 3 are of marriageable age. If you get this 200,000 yuan, your 3 sons can buy a house and get married immediately, and you don't have to worry about the bride price. Maybe I can still have some money left over to start a small business so that my family can live without worries. It would be better than now. Now a family of 6 people are crowded into a small house of 40 square meters. Everyone's farts can be heard clearly, so there is no privacy at all, after so many years. I and my wife have lost their married life. There are 3 young men and 1 young daughter at home. How dare they act rashly? You ask me, what the should I do if I know? I should have asked for the secret recipe yesterday, but I didn't expect this woman to use a delaying tactic. This time, let her take the old lady away, not to mention the secret recipe can't be handed over. Uncle Hao also looked regretful. Miscalculation. There is no place to cry now. Where can they find people? The aunt in the courtyard came out to pour water and saw these people standing at the door of her mother's house. They looked as discouraged as if their mother had just died. Isn't the old lady alive and well? Why this expression? Xiao Hao, what's wrong with you? I came to see your grandma. Your grandma and the others moved away yesterday. You didn't see the note tucked on the door, which is the address left for you. The old lady looked excited. Your grandma said that she would send someone back in 2 days to invite us neighbors to visit her new home. I heard that your grandma was very lucky after she moved to a new home. After finding this little granddaughter, she didn't expect that she would really enjoy the blessing. Yesterday, someone drove a van over to pick up people and some things. He said that the rest of the things should be moved slowly. Anyway, there are ready-made things over there, so there is no shortage of these things. At first glance, he looks like a rich man. By the way, the bucket in your grandma's yard is of no use to me, otherwise I would have used it first. You talk to your grandma first. Take the bucket and leave. Uncle Hao felt something in his heart. How could he tell his neighbor like this? It wouldn't be like running away. If it's just a simple move, that's easy. Several people took down the note from the door, and sure enough, there was an address left on it. And tell Uncle Hao that they are here today. If you see this note, go to the new address to find them. A few people looked at each other and saw joy in their eyes. It was good that they didn't run away. As long as they could find someone, the secret recipe would not be able to escape. Several people hurriedly went out, took the bus, and arrived at the address. Several people were a little puzzled. The address of this place was not the place they should come. Although this is not a truly wealthy area, it can still be considered a place where middle-class families can afford to live. Is it possible that my little sister is really promising? Actually moved to this place? Several people are a little puzzled, but whether they are puzzled or not, they have to come to the door quickly. Money is more important. Following the address, we found the place. When they saw this two-story building, several people were a little surprised. Of course, I am even more envious. The living environment in this place is not of the same level at first glance, especially this courtyard. You can see the mountain behind it. If you plant some medicinal materials in this courtyard, I am afraid that the medicinal effect will be much better than that of ordinary medicinal fields. The environment is surprisingly good. Of course, there is a car parked at the door of the yard at this moment. Several tall men were moving things at the door. At a glance, I saw House Higang gesticulating there. Several people hurried up. House Higang, why didn't you tell us about the move in advance so that we can help? Several brothers in your family can help. Your grandmother is so old. What if you are tired? Can you be worthy of all of us? Uncle Hao scolded her when he came up. Of course, they were more anxious because it seemed that the old lady had moved away without telling them. House Higang looked at these people and realized that they were all elders. He couldn't afford to offend them, and he didn't see that they had already given the elders money when they came up. Uncle, you just came. We had already agreed to move. Who knew you didn't even mention this when you came yesterday and left in a hurry? Grandma didn't even have time to say anything. Since we are here, I will take you in. My great-aunt and aunt are waiting for you in the living room. I thought you should come early in the morning, but I didn't expect you to come now. Zhang Xiaoxiao and House Higang have other things to do today. They made an appointment with an agent and are going to view a house in the afternoon. 3 shops must be rented. I definitely can't afford to buy a shop now, so I only have the little money I have. From yesterday to today, almost everything has been built. Last night, my aunt was alone in the laboratory and didn't know what to do for a long time. At any rate, they smelled a scent. Auntie said that these things are prepared for opening a store in the future, and it is not the time to reveal them yet. The brothers had a special meeting with Grandma yesterday, a meeting with Grandma. The meaning of the statement is to give them a serious warning that since they decide to follow their aunt in the future, they must do it wholeheartedly. They must do whatever their aunt tells them to do, less nonsense and more work. The brothers all patted their chests and agreed. The main thing is that the food and accommodation here are good. As long as they can do great things by following their aunt, why wouldn't they want to? Yesterday, the 4 brothers had a room each. They slept alone on the spacious double bed and rolled around as much as they wanted. It was uncomfortable. Compared to the small bunk bed at home, the comfort is simply not on the same level. Especially with the windows open, you can smell the birds singing and the flowers outside. Who doesn't want to live a good life after sleeping so comfortably? Early in the morning, House Higang took his bank card and followed 3 bodyguards to the bank to withdraw money, which was 1 million in cash. Just as the uncle, was the master who did not see the rabbit and did not scatter the eagle. If they wanted them to sign and agree, the secret recipe was sold to the aunt. It's really worth seeing the real thing. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 842. Chapter 842, Get Money. When the 4 brothers entered the door and saw the spacious living room, they felt envious in their hearts. It seems that they underestimated the sister in front of them. Yesterday I was looking for a secret recipe. Completely forgot to talk about old friendship with this sister. I don't know where he came from. But seeing the neat cash on the table, their attention was instantly attracted. That's money. Zhang Xiaoxiao saw a few people and said, "Brothers, please sit down. Since you are already here, This is the lawyer I invited. The contract has been established. As long as you sign and deposit, you will have 1 million in front of you. And according to everyone the shares have been divided. As a family, if you sign and pledge 200,000 yuan, you will get your share. Zhang Xiaoxiao knew that these people were just doing this for money. She also wants to get over it once and for all. Afraid of trouble. Uncle Hao was a little unhappy when he heard that it was 200,000. Sister, you're wrong to divide it up like this. We only have 4 brothers, each with 250,000 yuan. Zhang Xiaoxiao glanced at Uncle Hao jokingly, brother. Although Zhigang is young, his parents in the same room have passed away, so the natural share should fall on his head. Is this an open robbery? Hao Zhigang puffed up his chest and said, second uncle, what do you mean 4 brothers? It should be 5 brothers. If my aunt is included, it should be divided into 6 parts at least. Why is there not my aunt's share? You must know that this money was obtained from selling the Hao family's secret recipe, and everyone has a share in the property. I really can't stand the way some of the older generation are so greedy for money, and they wish they could just keep it all to themselves. Uncle Hao glared, if your married daughter throws away the water, even if your aunt is found, your aunt will still be just a woman. Besides, she has been married a long time ago. What does she have to do with our Hao family? Having never eaten from our Hao family, nor made any contribution to the Hao family. Why should we share the money for the Hao family's secret recipe? And your parents are not here. You are used to spending a lot of money. I can't share that money with you. If I give it to you, you definitely won't be able to keep it. Your second uncle will help you keep your share of the money. When you are ready to start a family and start a business in the future, come and ask your second uncle for it. Hao Zhigang was so angry that he was so shameless. Second uncle, it has nothing to do with you whether you can keep that money. My share of money, even if I don't get married in the future, I still have to keep it to support my great-grandmother. It has nothing to do with you. I don't need your help. I keep it. One day in the province, when I asked you for money again, you told me directly that all of it was subsidized to my brothers. I haven't dealt with it yet. I should take care of my grandma, but it's not my turn to raise a few brothers. That's the business of you 2 elders. My share cannot be less than a penny, even without my aunt's share. There is also the great aunt's share, so it still needs to be divided into 6 parts. How could it be possible that after you prepare the secret recipe and sell it for money, no one cares about grandma? Hao Zhigang originally didn't want to get angry with Uncle Hao and the others, but seeing the look of Uncle Hao and the others, he couldn't get angry at all. There must be a fight. Uncle Hao and the others really had no plans for the old lady. Hao Zhigang had been taking care of the old lady all these years. They really didn't regard the old lady as their own business. That does not include the old lady's share. Now that Hao Zhigang is talking about it, I can't help but feel a little embarrassed. Zhigang, it's hard to explain what you said. You are still holding a shop in my name. That shop is for your great-grandmother to provide for her retirement. Even if it is rented out, the rent will be a few cents. So the money is not divided into your great-grandmother's share. Even if it is your share, we will still have 5 shares, 200,000 per family. Uncle Hao made a quick decision. The price of renting out that shop was only RMB 200 a month at most. The location was not good and the storefront was small. Not worth a lot of money. Uncle Hao couldn't let the money he got go. Uncle, since what you said is so fresh and refined, and the shop is already so valuable in your eyes, I will give you the shop, and you don't need to take your share. Hao Zhigang opened his mouth and shouted back. Originally, the great-grandmother did not want to share the money. For the great-grandmother, selling the secret recipe was not her original intention. But now, he wants to fight for his great-grandmother. This is completely unfilial to his descendants, and he sends the old lady away from a small shop. Don't you feel blushing when you say this? My uncle is in his 50s. This is what people say? Uncle Hao was rarely ashamed. He knew it was wrong when he said this. As expected, I was caught by this kid. He said angrily, okay, then I'll give your great-grandmother a share, sell the shop and share the money together. Uncle Hao thought that if he gave the old lady a share, it would not belong to him alone. If the money was less, everyone would have less money, but if he did not agree, this boy can just trade the shop for his share. Why? That shop is not worth much at all. If there is a loss, it would be better for everyone to suffer the loss together. Only with these words, the other brothers wanted to distinguish the words of the eldest brother. But seeing Hao Zhigang's desperate attitude, he knew that it was impossible not to give the old lady a share due to both emotions and reasons. After all, this is my grandma. Even though the parents have passed away, according to filial piety and inheritance distribution rights, the great-grandmother still owns this property. From a policy point of view, it should be said that there are more than half of the great-grandmother. Now that the great-grandmother can take the initiative to share it with them, it is already a huge honor. If the commotion continues, maybe Hao Zhigang will directly take out the law on inheritance distribution. At that time, the gains will really outweigh the losses. A few people had no choice but to grit their teeth and agree. So, under the witness of the lawyer, the property distribution was completed, everyone signed and pledged, and the secret recipe was sold to Zhang Xiaoxiao. Several people took their share of the money and left. Uncle Hao and the others were somewhat complacent. They were all secretly happy, mainly because they felt that the secret recipe was sold to their own sister. After all, she is still a sister and a member of the Hao family. This is called meat rotten in the pot. Now that they have the money, they may be able to get the secret recipe back from their sister and sell it again in the future. Everyone left happily. Before leaving, Uncle Hao looked back at the small villa and felt a little hesitant. It seemed that his sister had not been back for so many years, but she seemed to be living a good life outside. What if my sister has some net worth? But no matter how you think about it, this matter is a foregone conclusion. Seeing that the relationship with his sister seemed to be unable to ease, Uncle Hao shook his head, forget it. Just get this money. Several people took the money and took the car back home directly. The old lady watched as several unfilial descendants took the money and left without looking back. A little sad, these are the people of the Hao family, the descendants of the Hao family. If his husband saw that the Hao family fell apart one day, to this extent, he would probably die of grief. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 843. Chapter 843 I Can't Make a Move. Hao Zhigang found an agent, and Zhang Xiaoxiao left it to him to find a shop. She was not a local, so she didn't know what kind of location or what kind of house was the most valuable. How has Hao Zhigang been in this industry for so many years? If you don't even know him, what can you do as a foreigner? So she handed this matter over to Hao Zhigang directly, including the remaining money in Kali. Hao Zhigang was deeply moved when he saw Zhang Xiaoxiao handing over the bank card to him without hesitation. Auntie trusts herself too much. He took his brothers to work. At this time. Why didn't you find anyone? Mr. Feng looked at his men. Although they reported their family name and said their surname was Hao, they naturally didn't believe it. The best company for Zuyuan is naturally the Hao family. Only in the name of the Hao family can the price be sold. All fools know this. It mainly refers to the word supergrade. The next day they released the news that there were not a few people who came for the supergrade Zuyuan pill. Many people are here for the super quality. Each supergrade Zuyuan pill was auctioned for 2 million. If Zhang Xiaoxiao knew about it, he should call him a profiteer. At the beginning, I wanted to buy my Zuyan Dan with 400,000 yuan, but it changed hands so many times. Now many medical families are inquiring about whose family sent this Zuyan pill and which doctor made it. When such talents are caught in one's hands, their elixirs will immediately reach a higher level. Mr. Feng himself wanted to know. It's a pity that the person sent that day didn't follow him and was dumped. The people sent out now don't know if they can find the news. Mr. Feng, we went to the slums in Zikan. The Hao family's courtyard had long been deserted. We heard that they had moved away. We also went to the houses of the Hao family's children. After asking around, the neighbors found out that people like the Hao family have too much time to take care of themselves. It is impossible to refine elixirs at all, they are just ordinary people. I haven't heard of any great pharmacists in their family. The only news is that I heard that the Hao family's granddaughter who had been missing for decades has been found, but no one else has seen this granddaughter. Others will take time. Where MRS Hao is moving now, we should get news at the latest tomorrow. Mr. Feng frowned, so unlucky? You have to act quickly. Our intelligence network can't find anyone. It doesn't make sense. The Feng family doesn't pay for waste. The tone was a bit unkind. Their family spent a lot of money to support a bunch of people and told themselves that they couldn't find anyone. Yes, Mr. Feng, we will go now and we will give you news before tomorrow night. Leave after your subordinates promise. Mr. Feng secretly speculated that the Hao family seemed to be so dilapidated that they moved to Zikan district. Zikan district was full of civilians, and it was not a place where ordinary people with secret recipes and talents could not live. It is impossible for the Hao family to come up with the super-grade Zuyan pill. So the aunt that day was the Hao family's granddaughter that these people said was lost and found? Impossible. Looks like I need to be more patient. At this time, Hao's Higang had already selected 3 stores. They are both in good locations on Yaoshi Street. My aunt said that you should not be too stingy in doing business. If the location is not good, you may get twice the result with half the effort. Happily, I have enough money to pay the rent. Hao's Higang looked at his bank card and transferred the last 4 million, and rented the house. But now the bank card is empty. How to decorate and purchase goods? Hao's Higang also had a headache. His aunt told him to just rent a house by himself and not to think about anything else, so he just did it. But I don't know what to do. That's all. And in vain? Refining a few more super-grade beauty pills to sell? Where did you get the money to buy the 10,000 years snow lotus? Hao's Higang felt a little regretful. He should have persuaded his aunt to create value first and then invest. I am dizzy and listen to everything Zhang Xiaoxiao says. Now I feel it is difficult to do anything. In this day and age, a penny is too much for a hero. Now I'm starting to be poor again. Hao's Higang returned home dejectedly. Zhang Xiaoxiao came out of the laboratory. Seeing Hao's Higang and the 4 of them, he directly carried them in. You need an experimenter yourself, you cannot do it yourself. Then let's do an experiment with them. Hao's Higang was grabbed by his ears and screamed by his aunt. It hurts, auntie, if you can't be gentle with that powerful diamond finger of yours, my ears will fall off. With grins on their faces, Hao's Haiqiang, Hao's Haiming, and Hao's Hickson almost lost their eyes in envy. They wished their aunt would do the same to them. This is what people would do to those close to them. Have not heard. Hitting is affection, scolding is affection, neither spanking nor scolding is affection. They want it too. Zhang Xiaoxiao let go, picked up a knife, and handed it to Hao's Higang. Hao's Higang stared, took it with a cute expression, and asked in a daze. Auntie, what are you going to do, kill someone? The spirit suddenly trembled and trembled. Auntie, if we have something to say, it's not okay to kill people. There is a clear rule in the West City that those who kill people will be expelled. If they are still punished, they will be put into the Kunlun Mountains. No one who goes in will come out alive. Auntie. I still want to marry but without children. The old Hao family has not yet continued its incestuous relationship. You can't harm me. Aunt. Plopped down on his knees, hugging Zhang Xiao's thigh and crying heartbrokenly. Zhang Xiao looked at his pants that were wet from crying. Hao's Higang, you get up first. Who asked you to kill someone? This brain circuit is so strange. With a knife, does it mean killing someone? As soon as Hao's Higang heard this, his tears disappeared instantly, and he got up with a smile on his face. I knew it. My aunt wouldn't be so cruel. My aunt is the best to me. It seems that the person who just cried and shouted that Zhang Xiao was going to kill the Hao family was not him. None of the three Hao's Haiqiang brothers watched. Lao Lu is so embarrassed to be like this. Even if Zhang Xiao is their aunt, she is too out of character. Auntie, what do you want me to do with this knife? Hao's Higang was relieved when he heard that he would not kill people. As long as you don't kill people, it is not pleasant to live well. Give yourself a knife on your arm and leg. You choose the location, whichever one you want to seriously hurt. Zhang Xiaosheng was afraid that Hao's Higang would not be cruel. He had tried it on the little white rabbit just now, and the effect was good. But there are still differences between humans and little white rabbits, so naturally we have to give it a try. Hao's Higang was dumbfounded. Stay where you are. Auntie, you still say you won't kill anyone? Yes. Not killing? I'm asking you to seriously injure yourself. I'm not asking you to kill yourself. Move quickly and don't waste time. Zhang Xiao impatiently picked up a bottle on the table. Here is my newly made gold sore medicine. Right? That thing that I only knew about in martial arts novels actually has a recipe now. The world is really amazing. Hao's Higang cried sadly, is it okay if I don't stab him? What is this thing called? Are you still a man? It's not just a matter of one stabbing, or at worst I can send you to the hospital. You can't die. As long as you don't stab yourself in the heart, liver, and lungs, how can you die? Hao's Higang slowly picked up the dagger, looked left and right, but couldn't put his hand down. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 844. Chapter 844. Let me do it. Let me do it. Hao's Haiqiang went up and took the knife. Hao's Higang snatched it back again. This is the task given to him by his aunt. There is no way for this boy to steal his favor. It's just a knife. Hao's Higang closed his eyes, gritted his teeth, and then, ouch, it hurts me so much. Opening his eyes, the dagger penetrated directly through his thigh. This is the result of using too much force. Draw the sword. Zhang Xiaoxio's instructions. Hao's Higang wailed, are you still going to draw the sword? He regretted it. What can you do just now? Hao's Haiqiang wanted to grab it. Why did he have a fever? Just give it to him. Hao's Haiqiang saw that Lao Lu was still lingering there, so he went up and pulled it out. Hao's Higang's voice resounded through the sky. Hao's Haiqiang. You bastard. Are you still my brother? It hurts me so much, ouch. With quick eyes and quick hands, Zhang Xiao sprinkled the powder of the golden sore medicine on Hao's Higang's wound. Hao's Higang's voice was hoarse in his throat. The four of them looked at Hao's Higang's legs stupidly. The wound healed quickly and the bleeding stopped. Hao's Higang touched his wound. If it weren't for the blood stains, it would be obvious that he had just been stabbed. I even doubted whether I was dreaming. Pinch, knock, Hao's Higang shook his head. Looking up, he saw Hao's Haiqiang picking up the dagger. Haunted, what are you doing? That target is clearly yourself. Try again, Old Lu, please bear with me. Hao's Higang didn't have time to refuse, right? I don't give you a chance to refuse. Try your sister, try it. You won't be able to do it yourself if you try. Hao's Higang shouted. Ah! Mrs. Hao heard the sound and hurriedly looked for it. What's going on here? One great-grandson held up a knife, and another great-grandson's leg was bleeding profusely. What are you doing, killing each other? Zhang Xiaoxiao sprinkled the golden sore medicine, and Hao's Higang's wound healed again. Hao's Higang jumped up and grabbed Hao's Haiqiang's neck. Are you still my fifth brother? Are you cruel enough to your own brother? Come on, I'll give you a try too. Hao's Haiqiang chuckled and said, Lao Lu, don't try the two masters for one thing. You have proven its efficacy, and I will forget it. Lao Lu, don't worry, my grandma is watching, don't make my grandma sad. Just kidding, who wants to stab themselves in the leg? Even with such powerful medicine, it will still hurt. The pain is not fake. I didn't see Lao Liu's expression change when he was in pain. Xiaoxiu, is this the latest medicine you made? Mrs. Hao was so confused that she felt dizzy. When will the medicine for removing scars be used in this way? Zhang Xiaoxiao nodded, Grandma, gold sore medicine. The Hao family produces gold sore medicine. It should be sold at a good price now, right? Zhang Xiaoxiao has long thought about what to sell in his store, and this is the best. High quality and low price. This is very useful. Hao's Higang suddenly realized that the Hao family was going to make a fortune. If the golden sore medicine were so effective, even if it sold for a sky-high price, many people would be rushing to use it. Who cares whether people outside want it or not? Those who want to enter Kunlun Mountain will probably have to fight hard to get there. A slap on the thigh. Aunt, my aunt, you are so awesome. I wish I could kneel down to Zhang Xiaoxiao. A golden sore medicine can do this. Hao's Higang feels that his life has been in vain these years. Zhang Xiao pointed to the bottles on the table with her little finger. Hao's Higang took a closer look. Oh my god. Hao's Haiqiang looked at his brother and his legs and feet were trembling. Why are you trembling? What kind of magic medicine is this? Hao's Higang rushed forward with a roar and hugged the bottles tightly. Auntie, I, Hao's Higang, will never forget your great kindness to the Hao family in my lifetime. If I cannot repay your kindness, my children and grandchildren will definitely repay my kindness. Zhang Xiaoxiao was also frightened and trembled. What did I do? You are so kind and have no repayment. You want to cut off your own dog's head and give it to me. The question is whether it should be so scary. She just watched the money go down like water. The two of them together can make money very quickly. I didn't see that the bank card balance dropped to zero today. The store has not yet been renovated, hired, or completed, so there are many places where money is needed. She had nothing to do just now, so she went to refine the Zuyan pill. Where did the 10,000 years snow lotus come from? Oh, Zhang Xiaoxiao got the 10,000 years snow lotus that day, so he just broke off half of it from the base and planted it in his own space. Unexpectedly, it was really fruitful. Yesterday it was fine, but today a complete snow lotus grew out of the ground. Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't know whether it was 10,000 years old or 1,000 years old. Our field of knowledge is not here. Let's do this today. Pick it off to refine the medicine, leaving a small part in your hand. Continue planting. Keep it for the future where Zuyan Dan will be found. This is not Zhang Xiaoxiao's refined medicine. It seems to be no different from the last time it was a good medicine. Anyway, I added a little peach juice. Lao Lu, what is this? With Jin's Hangyazwu in front of them, Hao's Haiqiang and the three of them didn't know what surprises would come later. Looking at the contents of this medicine bottle, it seems to be their Zuyan pill. The problem is that the quality is not even higher than their Zuyan Dan. Don't dare to talk nonsense. In case not, it's not a slap in my aunt's face. This is a super grade beauty preserving pill. Hao's Higang shook his head excitedly. This was money, a pile of golden money. Now that he has the decorations and the money to buy goods, he can hire people. Maybe he can buy a van. That second car almost threw them on the road today. It won't work if I don't change it. I am still worried today. It's all solved now. Super grade beauty pill. Is this the super grade beauty pill? Okay, don't make a fuss. Tomorrow you go to Yuxinhang to sell it. This time you guys will go to the auction. We are not in a hurry and can take our time. Zhang Xiaoxiao asked, feeling that he had made a loss last time. Look at money flowing like water. You still have to take your time, one step at a time. Hao's Higang nodded, Auntie, don't worry, we won't let Mr. Feng's little grandson take advantage of us again this time. I will definitely handle it. Zhang Xiaoxiao nodded, took another pill, and handed it directly to the old lady. Grandma, I guess you need to find someone to try this. You need old neighbors and so on. The elderly people must be in need of Wufawan. This experiment cannot be stopped. This is a cough pill. Zhang Xiaoxiao was not idle and found out after he went to refine the elixir. The refining method is correct, but it seems that I am only at the level of refining first and second level elixirs. No matter how hard I control the weight, I can't refine high level elixirs. But Zhang Xiaoxiao has a cheating device. Add peach juice and you will have the best elixir in minutes. Zhang Xiaoxiao is confident that these pills will be fine. I just wanted to try it because I was afraid that the effect would be too good. Zhang Xiaoxiao has tried his best to control the amount of peach juice, but he is still afraid of overdosing it. The old lady laughed when she heard this. You still need to find someone else for this. Your grandma and I have white hair underneath the black hair. My black hair was dyed. We need the beauty pill to keep our appearance young, but we can't control our hair. It should be white or white. The old lady picked up the Wufa pill and threw it into her mouth without even hesitating. Hao's Higang didn't even try to stop him. Zhang Xiaoxiao instantly had a high opinion of the old lady. People trust. How much trust is this? Grandma, your hair, your hair. The white hair that was still visible just now seems to be gradually turning black. In just over an hour, Mrs. Hao's hair became thick, black, smooth, and beautiful. I immediately became several years younger. Zhang Xiaoxiao frowned, the effect seemed a bit too good. The amount should be reduced. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 845. Chapter 845, Blinded. Zhang Xiaoxiao is working day and night in his laboratory to improve the formula. Experiment with the effects of your own peach juice. The effect must be mitigated to a certain extent. Hao's Higang took people to Yuxingzing. Hold 5 bottles of Zuyandan in his hand. Hao's Higang is very confident. Although he was still wearing the same jacket and jeans, he still walked out of a way that he didn't recognize his relatives. Hao's Haiqiang and the other 3 followed bravely, with straight faces and expressionless expressions. The inner fear is like a dog. No one has ever been to a place like this. They are too high-minded and lack confidence. Go to the door. Looking at the tall security guard, Hao's Haiqiang and the 3 of them felt a little weak in their legs. It's here, it's here. You won't be kicked out, right? Then. A beautiful woman with heavenly beauty and voluptuous figure. Her cheongsam is convex in places that should be convex and concave in places that should be concave. It makes people salivate. Walked up to Hao's Higang gracefully. Mr. Hao, you are here, I will take you to the VIP room. Since that day, Helena showed her face in front of the boss with Hao's Higang's super-grade elixir, and received a commission of 50,000 yuan. 1 year's salary. Finally showing her face in front of Mr. Feng, Helena was ambitious and wondered if she could get promoted. Him has been in the position of commissioner for 5 years. A commissioner who doesn't want to be in charge is not a good commissioner. I am willing to pay an annual salary of 50,000 yuan. Don't think that their salaries are high. Compared to other places, their wages here are very high, but here, in Zishi, it's really not that much. I can't even afford a house for my parents. Really poor. My father is hospitalized with advanced gastric cancer, which is not a disease for them. As long as you have money, take a Nirvana pill and it is guaranteed to cure the disease. Right? The hospitals in Zikan City do not perform incisions or operations. The examinations are the same. They have the most advanced machines. The problem is that they absolutely do not allow the use of Western medicine to treat diseases. Otherwise, it is a violation of the laws of the West City. The lighter case will be expelled, and the more serious case will be sent to the Kunlun Mountains. If I want to cure my father's illness, I need 10 million Nirvana pills. Helena couldn't earn this money even if she was beaten to death. The only thing he could do was pay 5,000 yuan a month for medical expenses, buy Vinyang pills and eat them to ensure that his condition would not worsen, so he would hang on for dear life. Helena also dreams of getting rich overnight. Seeing Hao Zhigang again now was like seeing golden banknotes. Hurry to greet him. This is the god of wealth. Ms. We meet again. Hao Zhigang was in a good mood when he saw this girl. Last time, the girl didn't judge people by their appearance at all, which was enough to make him feel good about her. Hands on his smile and politeness. Mr. Hao, you are here. I am the commissioner here and am responsible for receiving all distinguished guests. You are our honored guest and I will be responsible for receiving you. Xiao He, you can go ahead. I am here. A woman stepped in, aged 35 or 6, with her hair neatly tied up, and her gold-rimmed glasses covering her shrewd eyes, with a polite and fake smile on her face. Helena's eyes were filled with sadness. This was her immediate boss Wang Yuuru. A real supervisor who always puts others on the back foot and is narrow-minded. The last time she got such a high commission, Wang Yuuru hinted in her words that she should be more filial to her. I am short of money. Pretend not to understand. Now people are targeting me. Grab business forcefully. You just give in like this? Helena feels wronged and refuses to give in. What can she do? But I am not willing to give in. The man in front of me is an absolute gold mine. Clenched teeth. He bowed his head and apologized. Mr. Hao, Manager Wang will take you to the VIP room, so I'll excuse you. Swallow the bitter water in your stomach. You cannot lose this job. Can only be bullied. Wang Yuuru gave Helena a sneer, and wanted to argue with herself, without even looking at her status. Then he forced a smile and said, Mr. Hao. Please. Hao Zhigang glanced at Helena. He was right, there was a TV series in front of him. The kind of taking things by force and bullying weak bosses. The oppressed subordinates did not dare to resist at all. My chest couldn't help but feel on fire. I have been bullied like this before, and I can't bear to see people like this who openly steal other people's business. Watching Helena being bullied, I felt like I was seeing myself at that time. Hao Zhigang straightened his face and put away his smile. What do you mean? Are you looking down on me by substituting someone halfway? Let Mr. Feng come and find out if he doesn't want to do this business. If he doesn't want to do it, tell him early, and it will save me an extra trip. A loud shout. Helena was startled. Wang Yuuru's heart skipped a beat. This master is not easy to serve at first sight. With a smile on his face, he said, Mr. Hao, I don't mean that. I am responsible for VIP service. My service ability is stronger. The replacement is to serve you better. If you can't give in easily, you don't believe that a seller would care so much about who serves him. Hao's Higang glanced at Wang Yuru with a half smile. I'm not happy to serve you today, what do you think I should do? Wang Yuru was so angry that her face turned red. This is about being humiliated by others. No one dared to humiliate himself like this, even Mr. Feng was polite to him. Don't even look at who your father is. The daughter of the Wang family dares to bully, this man is getting impatient. Sir, although you are our distinguished guest, this is not a place where anyone can run wild. Wang Yuru really didn't know Hao's Higang. When she entertained Hao's Higang that day, Wang Yuru happened to be on vacation. He had no idea that the inconspicuous man in front of him was the holder of the super-quality elixir that everyone had been talking about. Hao's Higang showed a ruffian-like smile with a careless look on his face. Then what do you mean? Do you want to see the man? You have to cry and shout to serve us? Rushing is not a business, and I don't like women who are too proactive. Wang Yuru was bitten to pieces by angry silver teeth. Come here. Security, there is someone causing trouble here, kick them out immediately. There are no such unqualified guests in Yixin. It is nothing to drive away a guest. She alone as the commissioner still has this power. Hence, don't even look at what the 4 people in front of you are wearing. A whole body put together would probably not cost more than a few $dozen. At first glance, he looks poor. Although you have a VIP card, there are 3 levels of VIPs. Maybe this person is the kind who uses chicken feathers as arrows. I borrowed a VIP card from a friend to save face. There are many such people. I didn't see any difference between the 4 of them and country bumpkins. Helena saw that the security captain was coming and hurried forward. I'm sorry, Mr. Hao, Director Wang. This Mr. Hao is our distinguished guest, a very important guest. Mr. Feng has been waiting. Seeing that he didn't say a word, Wang Yuru rolled his eyes. Xiao He, it seems you don't want to do this anymore. You even helped the customers deceive the company, so you were fired. Wang Yuru does not need any reason to fire an employee. A small specialist will not attract the attention of senior management. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 846. Chapter 846. No expression. The security captain, Captain Zhang, came with his people. After receiving the call from Wang Yuru, he was so angry that he almost got in front of Mr. Feng last time. In the past few days, I have been thinking about how to improve my image in front of Mr. Feng and improve my impression. Otherwise, I, the security captain, will be in trouble. Fatty Zhang is also real, and he has made himself miserable. That fat man didn't show up for the past 2 days, which made him miserable, so he hid away. Now Captain Zhang wants to make meritorious deeds. As soon as he heard Wang Yuru's call, he immediately felt that he was possessed by the god of war, and he rushed over with his men in a majestic manner. Director Wang, who is so bold as to dare to cause trouble to us, let's see if he owes. Oh my god, why did I encounter this guy again? Captain Zhang's arrogant face instantly turned into a coward. Last time, I almost lost my job because of this person. Now do it again? Fatty Zhang just left, and now here comes Wang Yuru. Why don't you, Director Wang, even look at your own guests? I am blind. Don't drag me along even if you want to die. Is this person someone they can offend? Captain Zhang's face turned red and black, then black and blue. It has changed a few times. Captain Zhang, this person pretends to be a VIP customer and is still picky here. He actually questioned the service of our Yuxinexing and colluded with Helena to take advantage of our Yuxinexing. Helena was fired by me. Now this customer will be handed over to you. You kick people out of here right away. All cats and dogs dare to come to Yuxingxing. Let him know how powerful we are. Wang Yueru pointed at Hao Zhigang and said that this man looked wretched and that he was not a good person at first glance. Captain Zhang tugged at Wang Yueru's sleeve. Director Wang, this person is a guest. What? Captain Zhang doesn't want to do it anymore. If you don't want to do it, of course someone will do it. You guys, drive these people out, do you hear me? Although Wang Yueru is a small commissioner in Xinjiang, no one dares to offend her because of her strong background. When the other security guards saw this, none of them came up. The few people Captain Zhang brought happened to be the same people he took to deal with Hao Zhigang last time. Who knew that this person could not be offended? Director Wang, if you want to die, go die yourself and don't bother us. Captain Zhang is angry. This little girl is average looking. She paints her eyebrows all day long without even looking at her own face. Now she is deliberately going against him. Director Wang is stupid. No one has ever done this to me. Captain Zhang smiled carefully and said, Mr. Hao, don't pay attention to this crazy bitch. Xiao He, why don't you quickly call Mr. Hao to the VIP room? I'll inform Mr. Feng that Mr. Hao is here. This is a great opportunity to turn yourself around. Captain Zhang almost doubled over with laughter. It's really a pillow for sleepy people. Helena is still confused. She was unemployed just now, and then there is such a reversal? Can Director Wang be criticized by the security captain? Can this world be more fantasy? But it tastes good. With a smile on his face, he took a step forward. Mr. Hao, please come with me. When I said these words, the turbid air in my chest disappeared. Even if I am fired today, it is still worth it. Hao Zhigang smiled and walked away. The security captain is pretty good and has a long memory. When I see you, Mr. Feng, I will definitely praise you. Your service attitude is much better than this director. Hao Zhiqiang and the others finally felt relieved. Just now I was really worried about being kicked out. It would be really embarrassing if that were the case. Director Wang didn't react for a long time. How dare Captain Zhang, a small security captain, speak to himself like this? Helena actually dared to disobey her own orders. Could it be that the man in front of me has some background? Fatty Zhang hurriedly walked in. Director Wang, did Mr. Hao come in just now? Which VIP room? Ever since that day, Zhang Shaija scolded him severely when he went back. Given the good opportunity in front of him, he failed to seize it, and even offended a doctor who could produce super-quality elixirs. Zhang Shaija almost beat Fatty Zhang to death. Fatty Zhang was ordered to find Mr. Hao no matter what he tried. Fatty Zhang has sent his men to inquire around, but he didn't get much information from the Hao family. After all, the Hao family has fallen into decline. It is not easy for a small household like this to find out the specific situation. Fatty Zhang had no choice. In the end, the only way he could think of was to stay in Yixinxiang. Mr. Hao cannot come to Yixinxiang just once. Since he has the elixir in his hand, he will naturally come to Yixinxiang again. In this way, he can take the opportunity to catch up with someone. Today he was watching in the car outside, and suddenly he saw 4 people getting out of the van. At first glance, the person in the lead was Mr. Hao, who he had been looking for several days. It's not like he got out of the car immediately and chased after him. Who knew that he had a stomachache? With Mr. Hao's ability, it was natural that he came to entertain the distinguished guests. When I saw Director Wang, I naturally stepped forward and asked. Mr. Hao, Mr. Bad, I think you are just pretending to be a ghost. Director Wang was just scolded by Captain Zhang, but now he sees Fatty Zhang looking so good. Who knew that just one word would offend Fatty Zhang? He went up and gave Director Wang 2 slaps and 2 kicks. He was knocked to the ground with his head and face covered. You bastard, you dare to slander Mr. Hao here? Don't you want to live anymore? Do you know who Mr. Hao is? That's my friend, the last time we had tea together in the VIP room. You dare to slander my friend? I insist on letting you know why the flowers are so red. What a little director, how dare he treat guests so slowly? Even if you, Mr. Feng, come here, you will definitely have to praise me for a good fight. As soon as he finished speaking, Hao Zhigang heard the sound and had already poked his head out from the stairs upstairs. Fat Zhang, okay, why are you a man beating a woman? Hurry up and drink tea. Although I can't stand Director Wang, I still can't stand seeing a man beating a woman. Fatty Zhang gave Director Wang a hard kick. Did you see how open-minded my brother is? He was so underestimated by you and still interceded with you. Just wait. Mr. Feng will see you later and ask him to fire you. How dare you show my brother's face here, no matter what. Getting up and going upstairs, he smiled like a bitch. As long as he could catch up with Hao Zhigang, he could just call Hao Zhigang daddy. Mr. Feng came over and saw Director Wang getting up from the ground. Mr. Feng, look at that Mr. Hao and his people who asked you to bully me and beat me like this. You must make the decision for me, otherwise people will think that Yi Xingxing is afraid of a small VIP room guest. Director Wang complained to Mr. Feng and covered his face. He could no longer see anyone with his face. Mr. Feng snorted coldly, a guy like you actually comes here to stir up trouble. You don't even know what kind of people you have offended. It seems that your Wang family's strength has been exhausted. Okay. Don't do it with us anymore. Just go back wherever you need to go. I originally wanted to give your eldest brother some face. Who knew you could be so indifferent without even a wink? Captain Zhang hurriedly cleared the way and took Mr. Feng to the VIP room. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 847. Chapter 847 False and True. Wang Yueru felt aggrieved. She had suffered such great grievances, but Mr. Feng did not protect her at all. She is the daughter of the Wang family. Mr. Feng is not afraid that he and his eldest brother will sue. This time she learned the lesson wisely and grabbed Helena, who was coming down the stairs from above. Helena, who is that Mr. Hao? Helena was praised by Mr. Feng, and because of Hao Zhigang's praise, Mr. Feng directly promoted her to director, and now she replaces Director Wang. Helena is so happy. I knew that it would be okay to hold Mr. Hao's thigh. Mr. Hao is the one who brought the super-grade Zuyan pill 2 days ago, and he is also here to deliver the Zuyan pill today. Who do you think Mr. Hao is? Go and regret it? Wang Yueru's face turned pale. Grandma's is actually him. She is really looking for death. Not to mention that Mr. Feng will not stand up for her, even the eldest brother will probably go back and scold her bloody. Wang Yueru left in despair. In the VIP room, Hao Zhigang took out the medicine bottle. Mr. Feng, this time we are going to auction. It's still a super-grade Zuyan Dan. Mr. Feng picked it up carefully, and it was really true. Mr. Hao, Ms. Hao didn't come this time. Mr. Feng doesn't care whether it's an auction or a purchase by them. The price of this auction was unexpected. But they won't be blinded by such a small amount of money. Mr. Feng is concerned about who refined this elixir. His men haven't figured out the details of the other person, but the person has already arrived at his door for the second time. This feeling is not pleasant. It is equivalent to him negotiating with others in front of a ball of air. My aunt didn't have time, so she asked me to do it by myself. What? Feng always looks down on me, a rough old man, to discuss business with you. Hao Zhigang saw this irritable, careless man. But he is actually very careful. This statement seems unreasonable. In fact, it is to explore Mr. Feng's attitude towards Zhang Xiaoxiao and to know what the other party wants to do. My aunt is a key target of protection. Hao Zhigang is not stupid. The aunt is the lucky star of their family. At this moment, Other people discovered that if someone directly used a quota to lure my aunt to leave, those big families have money and shops, and there is no need to be like their family. They also need aunt to take care of the shop. Accumulation conditions. The family does not have an advantage. A person who will be eliminated in every minute. House Higang cannot help but be concerned. Golden thighs are hard to find. Finally managed to hold one in my arms, but I couldn't let him run away even if he lived or died. There are no conditions, let's create conditions. Where are you talking? Mr. How, I'm just asking casually. You and Ms. How are both a family, so of course anyone can come. I heard that Ms. How is your aunt the other day. Looking at her age, Ms. How seems to be younger than you. So big. Mr. Feng will naturally come to terms with the situation and not make people feel abrupt. Hao's Higang's eyes twitched. That's my aunt, my biological aunt, my great-grandmother's youngest granddaughter. This is closely related. No one can try to take advantage of the situation. This is my aunt, my biological aunt. If I am not a biological aunt, I must be a biological aunt. Mr. Feng is not surprised. My aunt? I had guessed that day. The two people must have something to do with each other. The relationship between men and women is definitely not. The relationship between two people is definitely not an intimate one in terms of temperament or attitude. It seems to be explained clearly now. They are relatives. Mr. Hao, this Zuyan Dan is the handiwork of your aunt. Mr. Feng, this is an affirmative sentence. No, no. How could it be made by my aunt? Our Hao family does not have such talents. You have misunderstood. Hao's Higang defended with a flustered expression. Mr. Feng smiled lightly. No, it's not, don't worry, Yi Xin has been doing business for so many years, and has a basic reputation, guaranteeing to keep the identity of customers secret. There is a ghost only if you believe me. The stumbling look clearly indicates a guilty conscience. What are you feeling guilty for? Haha, Mr. Feng's interest immediately rose. The talent behind the scenes is the girl. No wonder people can take out as many beauty pills as they want. Your own medicine man, you can take it as you like. As much as you want. He was overjoyed and said, Mr. Hao, we will auction in 2 hours. There is a grand auction today. You are lucky enough to catch it. Use your own brains and take the opportunity to build your reputation. Hao's Higang nodded, thank you, Mr. Feng. We also need a batch of medicinal materials and secret recipes. Here is the list. Take a look at it. We will settle the bill together later. That was arranged by Zhang Xiaoxiao. Hao's Higang is a white wolf with empty gloves. Mr. Feng looked at it and said, okay, Mr. Hao, the 4 of you will rest here for a while. Eat and drink whatever you want. Just tell Xiao He. You 4 will also be happy to participate in the auction later. You also need time to arrange it yourself. Hao's Higang nodded. As soon as Mr. Feng left, Hao's Higang breathed a sigh of relief, collapsed and fell on the sofa. Grandma, you have to pretend to do business with these people, it's so tiring. Hao's Haiqiang and the other 3 finally breathed a sigh of relief. You said that you were so worried about me just now. You didn't know that you were hesitant and anxious just now. Anyone could tell that you were guilty of a crime. Didn't you sell our aunt? As a bystander, I can tell that the elixir must have been made by my aunt. Hao's Haiqiang is anxious. Hao's Higang said calmly, Lao Wu. My 5th brother. Do you think I don't know? I tell you to put your heart in your stomach properly, eat and drink when you should, and we will also enjoy our guests properly. Treatment. The news that our aunt is the pharmacist who made the elixir will spread out sooner or later. I just did it on purpose. My aunt has long told me that if the Hao family wants to turn around, we must rely on our family's Zuyan elixir. Whether the three shops can earn 500,000 yuan a month in the future, of course, it is necessary to secure the status of Gugu, a certain golden brand. Otherwise, who would dare to go to our store to buy medicine? People are not afraid of buying fake medicines. There is a pharmacist who can refine super-grade elixirs. Think about it, it will not be easy for us to earn 500,000 yuan a month in the future. Yesterday, my aunt called me to her study room to talk about this matter. Only by being so half-covered, refusing to welcome, can Mr. Feng and the others absolutely believe that my aunt is the person behind it. If we, like Mrs. Wang, sell melons, brag about ourselves, and tell others that our aunt is the super alchemist, what do you think? Mr. Feng can believe it. The more you say no, the more he believes it. This is called when false is also true, true is also false, true is true and false is false and true is true. Keep them from knowing our details. Upon hearing this, Hao's Haiqiang, brothers Hao's Haiming and Hao's Hickson finally felt relieved. Since Lao Lu said it was arranged by my aunt, it would be easy to handle. Just thinking about the treatment they were enjoying now while sitting in this splendid VIP room, the three brothers became more determined to follow their aunt all the way to the end. Only the aunt can create the future of their Hao family, with a monthly income of 500,000. Thinking about this concept, several people feel warm in their hearts. Dry. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 848. Let's talk about chapter 848. Fatty Zhang watched Mr. Feng leave and watched Helena command the staff to bring the food in. I followed him in too. Brother, big brother, I was offended a lot last time, it's my fault, I can't make amends to you. When I saw Hao's Higang, I was ready to kneel down. Hao's Higang waved his hand, Fat Zhang, that's it? Last time you gave me a lot of compensation, and this isn't over yet. I just came out to you for being so righteous just now. It made me feel bad. The things we did before, forget about the grudges, she is just a woman anyway. Fatty Zhang stood up with a smile. Brother. Big brother, then you are really my dear brother. Don't worry, if you need my help in the future, as long as you ask, I promise to help you get it done. If there is any good business in the future, you can help me too. Fatty Zhang is not stupid. Although he usually bullies others and shows off his power, this man has a lot of tricks and is very tactful. If he were not tactful, how could he have carried Zhang Shayage's thigh to this point? That is not something ordinary people can do. After all, he is not Zhang Shayage's biological brother. His distant cousin can still hang out with Zhang Shayaje and enjoy the hot drinks. This must be his ability. Come on, your Zhang family has a big business, and you still want our small Hao family to come and recruit you? Are you ashamed of yourself for saying this? If you just throw it out of your pocket, it will be hundreds of thousands or millions. It's not like poor people like us. Let me tell you, my brother's pocket is brighter than his face now, he doesn't have a penny, and he's almost as poor as a penny. Hao's Higang touched his pocket, it was the truth. Fatty Zhang took out a bank card and placed it in front of Hao's Higang with a smile. Brother, what are you talking about? Are you deliberately making fun of my brother? This super-grade beauty-preserving pill, Yixin's auction alone has already fetched 2 million yuan. If you don't have money in your pocket, then who has money? This is not sincerity. Brother, you have no money in your pocket, and your brother's money is your money. Who among us brothers is following whom? There are 500,000 in this card. Brother, you can spend it first. If you need any more, just ask. I can't do anything else, but I can still help with money. Fatty Zhang wished that Hao's Higang would accept it immediately. The taker is short-handed. As long as he accepts his own money, it will be easy to handle, and the business can definitely be negotiated in the future. This thigh is definitely my own. Hao's Haikyung was stunned. This Fatty Jong is not a good person. Although I have never seen what kind of grudge Fatty Jong has against his younger brother, it is said that Fatty Jong has a bad reputation outside. Bullying the weak and fearing the strong, taking by force. Now he is actually flattering his younger brother, rushing to send money to his younger brother. Sigh, it turns out that this super-grade Zuyan pill is so powerful. When I saw this pill thrown out, I immediately thought about the chain reaction. When did the descendants of the Hao family enjoy such treatment after leaving home? Hao's Higang pushed the bank card back. Fat Zhang, why are you so serious? I'm just kidding you, I'm really short of money to tell you the truth. Just now I asked Mr. Feng to prepare for the auction, and our Zuyan Dan was put up for auction again. This time, 200 pills. After this auction, I don't know when I'll buy this kind of super quality beauty elixir next time. Hao's Higang poured a glass of red wine and took a sip, but he really didn't taste anything. Fatty Zhang hurriedly helped Hao's Higang shell the lobster and put the lobster meat on a plate for Hao's Higang. Brother, why is it gone? Could it be that the alchemist quits his job? If he thinks his salary is low, you can give him more money. Our pill is worth 2 million. As long as he has the ability to keep making it, you don't know how big the market is. Nowadays, people are different from those in the past. Rich women and mothers-in-law of rich families all look forward to this beauty pill. Eating this beauty pill can keep you young forever, and it can also improve facial defects. Those with single eyelids can take it if they want to have double eyelids, those with small eyes can also take it if they want to make their eyes bigger, and those with dark skin can turn it into white skin. After eating it, it feels better, just like a layer of dye. It's not enough for them not to eat it. This is a consumable product. If you don't eat it for 3 to 5 months, it will change back. This is a huge profit. Fatty Zhang has long seen business opportunities. I wish I could get a piece of the pie. What are you thinking? My aunt is our family's alchemist, how could she not do it? Besides, my aunt is not doing it for money. My aunt is a noble person, and it is for scientific research and medicine, do you understand? Such a noble sentiment, you actually call it a shameless person who is motivated by money. I think you deserve a beating. Fatty Zhang felt comfortable, he must have tricked him into saying something. Aunt. Hao's Higang's aunt. Could it be that she was the girl that Hao's Higang ran around that day and served her like a dog? This is too young, how could she be an aunt? It couldn't be that Hao's Higang lied to himself. Brother, please stop fooling me. Why does your aunt look younger than you? Your uncles and uncles are too unreliable. What do you know? You don't know what kind of elixir our family sells. My aunt is especially talented in this. Who made the Zuyan elixir? Hao's Higang was so proud that he didn't need any excuses. Fatty Zhang shut up immediately and slapped himself hard. Brother, look at my mouth, our aunt is naturally good at looking good, then why didn't our aunt come today? Fatty Zhang wants to get close to Zhang Xiaoxiao, is he lustful? He didn't dare even if he had 10 courages. Of course he hoped to see this aunt. Naturally, we can bring the relationship closer, and only after establishing a good relationship can cooperation be possible. My aunt is busy making medicine at home. How can I trouble my aunt with such trivial nonsense outside? In the eyes of my aunt, she only sees her medicine, medical skills, and alchemy skills, and nothing else is in her eyes. That's why you leave all the things outside to me and let me handle it all by myself. Didn't see me bringing several of my brothers here. My aunt told us nephews to do things carefully. That's it, that's it. All Fatty Zhang's thoughts were focused on the aunt who was refining medicine at home. It seemed that this aunt was really capable. Brother. Although we have never known each other, I admire you from the bottom of my heart. Although my family background was not very good at that time, I was poor but ambitious. Your character is not something that ordinary people can have. Brother, when I saw you at that time, I thought you had a strong character. See if I read that right? Brother, I can see that you and your aunt are both capable people. The next step is definitely to open a shop. How about we cooperate and I'll give you a share? Hao's Higang curled his lips, thinking beautifully. Among the 8 major medical families, the Zhang family is the last one. This is to use the momentum of the Hao family to let the Zhang family also change their family. Let's talk about it later. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 849. Chapter 849 The Magic of West Market. Zhang Xiaoxiao is wandering around the medicine market at the moment, and he has to continue to see what good medicinal materials are available. In the past few days, she had been listening to the old lady telling her about the legends of Zishi and the things passed down from the previous generation. Slowly, she realized why the so-called ancient medical community only stayed in Zishi. It has not been promoted nationwide, and this place belongs to the third-party control system, which means that no one is in charge of you. It turns out that the people in Zishi are all inheritors of ancient medicine, and Western medicine is not recognized here. In other words, although there are hospitals and clinics here, all the methods used to treat patients and save people are ancient Chinese medicine methods. Elixirs, medicinal materials, acupuncture and other incisions, surgeries, etc., have no place here at all. Anyone who dares to do such things is treason and goes against the will of the ancestors and will be kicked out. Of course, when people drive you out, they don't mean to drive you outside, so that you can be popular and drink hot food outside by relying on the inheritance you received in the ancient medical world. That's not a beautiful thought. This expulsion will drive you directly into the Kunlun Mountains, which gives people a particularly mysterious feeling. It is said that in the mountains of Kunlun Mountain, there is a special genius that nourishes everything here. The medicinal materials grown near here are hundreds of times more effective than those produced in other places. It is completely different from the Chinese medicinal materials outside. It can be said to get twice the result with half the effort. Most of the inheritors of the ancient medical field have opened up their own family medicine fields in the mountains near Kunlun Mountain. The medicinal materials grown here are the basis for their refining of elixirs. Of course, this inherited elixir in the ancient medical world is indeed surprising. As long as the well-made elixir reaches level 10, its effect is no worse than surgery in Western medicine. Let's say a case of appendicitis. Acute appendicitis is a nightmare for many people whose life is worse than death. In Western medicine, it is definitely an operation to cut off the inflamed part, suture it and then use medicine to recover. But in the ancient medical world, if you take anti-inflammatory pills, your appendicitis will be cured immediately without medicine. There is no need for surgery at all, but not everyone can make these level 10 elixirs. Not everyone can get it, so it becomes rare and expensive, but the local people can't afford the 10th level. Those at level 4 or 5 can still afford it. You want to recover from something that can be restored by taking a pill, but who is willing to pay that price for surgery? This is also the reason why Western medicine cannot be used in this place. Of course, level 10 elixirs can make people recover immediately after taking them, but level 4 or 5 elixirs will have to be taken for a month or two. Make sure you take one course of treatment before you can recover. This is also the reason why there are so many pharmacies in this place. And almost every pharmacy is overcrowded, which does not mean that people here have nothing to do but get sick. This is the place where many people come here to buy the elixirs. Who can guarantee that he will never get sick in this life? If he can buy elixirs here and take some medicine, he will be cured. Who would want to go to the hospital for an operation? Especially those rich and powerful people around the world cherish their lives even more. Naturally, the place becomes lively and busy. Someone asked why the wealthy families outside did not find a way to occupy a place in the West Market, or capture these people and use their talents to help them practice medicine. You must know that these pills are sold outside, which can make huge profits. Do you think no one has thought about it this way? There are so many people with crooked minds and those who are interested in making money. It's a pity. The local ancient medical practitioners here in Zishi will never leave their local area, even if they leave the local area. Their talents will immediately drop by one level, and no one knows why. The elixirs they can refine here, you will never be able to refine them as long as you leave this place. It seems like a curse that makes people evil. And how can the medicinal materials outside compare with the medicinal materials in Zishi? The medicinal materials in Zishi can only achieve the best results if they are refined in Zishi. This is also the reason why all those who want to buy elixirs in the West Market have to come here in person to buy them. As long as these elixirs leave the West Market, all the elixirs will lose their effectiveness in half a month. No matter what level of elixir you practice, even if you are a level 10 elixir, as long as you leave this place, within a 10-mile radius, if you don't take this medicine within half a month, it will basically be of no use. Pills make no difference. And it's a pill that has no effect. There are many people who have given up their minds after trying it. If they want to use force to occupy this place locally, it is absolutely impossible. Because there is a very mysterious department of punishment in the Medicine God Association in Zishi. This department of punishment has personnel who are responsible for punishment, laws, and behavioral norms. These personnel are also called public security. These police officers are very capable. Anyway, no one has asked for favors from them so far. No one knows what methods these people use. They just know that once these people take action, they will be unpredictable. Anyway, the fate of those who did not do good things in the end was mysterious disappearances. Of course, most people believed that the method of punishment for these people was to throw these people into the Kunlun Mountains. As long as you enter the Kunlun Mountains and then think about it, you can't even think about it. Almost social death. Of course, the more he knew about the inside story, the more Zhang Xiaoxiao felt that it was very possible that some of the drugs in the West Market would wake up Song Moding. My purpose is not to explore other people's secrets, but to find hope that can wake up Song Moding. More and more, she felt that the Medicine God Association must go in. After the effect of peach juice was combined with the medicine here, I didn't expect it to work well. Be different. And these drugs seem to stimulate the effects of peach juice. In the past, after a peach was refined into a pill, even if all these pills were taken, there would be no side effects on the body. But now, once combined with these pills, Zhang Xiaoxiao found that the effect of the peach was amplified 10 times. More than. After experimenting, she reduced the amount of peach juice in these medicines to the minimum. It's so provincial that it makes people feel horrified. Of course, others don't know the results of the experiment, but she knows it because she discovered that she had added peach juice to the elixir. For example, the super-grade Zuyan Dan produced by Zuyan Dan can last for almost 10 years. In other words, you get the greatest effect at the least cost. Although she has not conducted this kind of experiment on other elixirs, she guesses that her peach juice will only enhance various effects. Moreover, the effects of this elixir are more condensed, which is equivalent to removing any impurities and obtaining the pure essence. This is something she didn't expect either. Perhaps this is how super-grade elixirs come from. Of course, Zhang Xiaoxiao's greater advantage is that she has become more confident. Maybe she can really refine the so-called rejuvenation pill herself. Song Moding should be able to wake up soon. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 850. Chapter 850 Meeting Again. Seeing the medicinal materials on the stall, Zhang Xiaoxiao was surprised to see several prescriptions placed in a box. She is not very short of medicinal materials, but she is short of prescriptions. Those really good things are all in the hands of the 8 major families. Of course, there are also some scattered things that are placed in the hands of small families. However, those prescriptions are definitely much less than those in the hands of the 8 major families, and those that can really be spread on the market. They are basically common prescriptions, which means that the products obtained from such prescriptions are very cheap in the market. For example, if you catch a cold medicine can be found everywhere here. You can find any medicine seller who can recite the recipe for this cold medicine to you. But if you want to sell this medicine at a high price, it is naturally impossible. Even if you make a level 10 cold medicine, it will be useless. No one can spend so much money to buy 10 level cold medicine, and it is not crazy to spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to buy medicine for a small cold. That's not how money is spent. So most of the recipes that can be circulated on the market are allowed to be circulated here by major families. Zhang Xiaoxiao's eyes lit up involuntarily when he saw the prescriptions. He picked up the box and flipped through it. As expected, these prescriptions were all very common. It's just hemorrhoid cream, toothache powder, and freckle removal cream. Very ordinary, so ordinary that no one cares. I didn't see the stall owner seeing Zhang Xiaoxiao looking at the box. He didn't even move it, and he didn't even say a warm greeting. It is true that this kind of thing cannot be sold at a high price. Zhang Xiaoxiao doesn't care. Things that can't be sold at a high price are good things to her. Our shop is still lacking a lot of things. You can't just sell 3 things, that's not practical either. Zhang Xiaoxiao also hopes that he can sign up within a month. Only after entering the gate of the Medicine God Association can you start to gain experience. It's not okay to take your daughter around all day long. My son goes to school, but he is restless and always peeks at her. Don't think that she doesn't know that there is definitely something special about her daughter. 1 glutinous rice dumpling, 1 yan. Zhang Xiaoxiao was very suspicious that he had done something illegal to cause this to happen to his child. It's all the bosses who say good things about Rebirth. It's too difficult for me as a boss. Anyway, she decided to send Songzian away in the next 2 days. If she dared not leave, she would try her own fried pork with bamboo shoots. Looking attentively. Then a man came up and stood beside her silently. Zhang Xiaoxiao turned around in shock. It was not 1 person, but 3 people. What? Who do you provoke? She didn't talk to anyone the whole way, but she came up to 3 people and robbed her? Robbery. Do you seem to be easy to bully? I didn't know I had bodyguards. Wanna die? Sister. With a plop, the 3 people knelt down. Zhang Xiaoxiao was frightened and hid. Wrong. The 3 of them looked familiar. Zhang Xiaoxiao pointed at the person. You. Sister, you saved my life. Dong dong dong, 3 rings. Zhang Xiaoxiao hurriedly helped the person up. Suddenly a circle of people gathered around. Okay, don't kowtow. In this era, if you have anything to say, please don't kowtow. I can't stand your head. Sister, you gave us money, you saved my life. If it wasn't your money, my life would have been lost a long time ago. Yes, my brother, thank you for your life-saving grace. We have been looking for you these past few days just to repay your life-saving grace. The enthusiasm of 3 people. Zhang Xiaoxiao was suspicious, something wasn't quite right. Too enthusiastic. Although it is appropriate to repay kindness, these 3 people are too. Hulala. More than a dozen big men surrounded them. Fan Jingkui, I asked you to run, you run, why don't you run? I'm so exhausted, your grandpa give me a beating, or I'll almost break my intestines. The lead man with flowery arms looked out of breath and pointed at Fan Jingkui angrily. The other dozen or so people are about to take action. Zhang Xiaoxin fell to the ground instantly. She said it was wrong. Now it's right? The first time Fan Jingkui met him, he failed. Now this image is more in line with Fan Jingkui's nature. Fan Jingkui wanted to set a trap for himself. Hold your arms and move aside, the box in your hand trembled and banged. It was quiet all around. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at the prescriptions scattered on the ground. Have to. It's so popular. The little boss shivered and put away the stall. Girl. I gave you those secret recipes. Come and take care of my business when you have time. See you in the world. He ran away in a flash. I'm afraid that these troubles will happen to me. Zhang Xiaoxiao bent over. His hands didn't even touch the square on the ground. Someone has diligently picked it up. Hand them neatly into her hand. Sister, those people are loan sharks. You have to save me. You are the great merciful and compassionate Kuan Bodhisattva. If you don't save me, I will be beaten to death. Sister, my biological sister. I am the only one in our family. What will happen to you and grandma if I die? Fan Jingkui burst into tears. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Fan Jingkui in tears. It's really good. Crying leads to this virtue. I am being relied upon. Hello sister. Fan Jingkui felt that since he had a bodhisattva heart, he would definitely save him. Good intentions just don't work. As expected, the man with the flowery arms opposite him perked up when he heard this. Pushed away some of his subordinates. Oh, Fan Jingkui. You still have a sister with such a mark? You are lucky. It just so happens that if you can't pay back the money, my brother will pay the debt, sister. You are good looking, don't worry. Big brother will find some good families for you. I guarantee you will pay off your brother's debt in a few months. It can also make you enjoy spicy food. He looked at Zhang Xiaoxiao with a lewd look. How much does he owe you? As soon as these words came out, Fan Jingkui finally breathed a sigh of relief. This was his savior. When he saw Zhang Xiaoxiao just now, he felt that his fortune was about to change. Since Zhang Xiaoxiao is willing to help him, he will definitely help him this time. Fan Jingkui was about to have his hand cut off, but there was nothing he could do about it. Although he was not dead, he was chased by loan sharks and had no choice but to die. My brother-in-law is still throwing it away at home. The monthly medication money is still waiting for him, and he really has no money to pay it back. Otherwise, you can't be so shameless and rely on your own savior. He owes me 188,000. Since you are his sister, then pay him back. The man with the flowery arms laughed. The girl was quite brave. You're talking nonsense. I just lent you 50,000 yuan, why only 188,000 yuan? The man with the flowery arm went up and kicked Fan Jingkui down. It's your grandma's. Don't my brothers eat? Is the interest compounded? 50,000 yuan is compounded, and now it's 188,000. Why don't you pay it back? If you don't pay back your labor and wages, I will send you to sell your outside the West Market. Fan Jingkui waited angrily for the man with the flowery arm. Still glaring at me? If I hadn't lent you the money with good intentions, your brother-in-law would have died a long time ago. You have to be grateful. When you don't borrow money, I will be the elder brother and the younger brother. When you want money, just stare at me. Eyes. I hate it when people stare at me. Be careful, I dig it out and use it as a ball to step on. End of this chapter.